Hello, how's it going? Um, so it's been about 3 months since I've done one of these videos, and a fair amount has happened in those 3 months. But so I figured I'd make a video in my on my day off, just while I'm thinking of it. I don't know if I'm treating this so much as a diary or just a conversation starter with anybody who bothers to look at these videos. Um, I can't really pretend to think that, this is some long lost missive, a message in a bottle. Um, if so, it's Lucy. The future will get to know Lucy. Um, so anyway, I found a job. I'm working at a cheese shop, which is not doing very much for my weight. I have been trying to run a couple times a week, but today's a really crappy day. Um, so I just stayed at home and I've been doing my blog stuff. So to the untrained eye, I might be seen as a lazy bum today, but I actually got quite a bit done and in my pajamas, no less. Um, so anyway, when I get a job, I sort of throw myself into the jobs just to be the best employee I can be. I don't think I'm really looking for praise or even a raise, or a raise would not, I would not turn down a raise. But it's more about just wanting to be good at something. Um, I think many people who have sort of meaningless jobs or no job at all, they're lacking meaning in their lives. That, to feel like what you're thinking of, or like what you're doing matters. And I really have come to the conclusion over the course of the years that all work, well, not all work, most work, 90% of all work is meaningful, is noble, is contributing to making the world a better place. There are jobs that don't do that, that actually make the world a worse place, but it's no point in talking about them today. The weather's crappy enough without my mood being crappy, so I might as well just not go down that path. But one of the things that's sort of been weighing on my mind is that at work, um, we get a lot of, um, I'll call it free food, but it's like out of date food. So it's still good. It's just that we can't sell it anymore. And because we can't sell anymore, they just sort of like, here, take it, you know? And sometimes it's quite a large amount. It really just depends on what didn't get sold. It's not so much of bad timing, it's just bad luck that things that they thought would get sold wouldn't, didn't get sold. And so they give it out to the employees, and there's just either like, there's roasted chicken, there's sandwiches, there's this and that. And um, I, I've been taking that food that they've given me, and I've been giving it to the homeless people I see on the way to work. Now I take the subway up to Center City, Philadelphia. I live in the the south area of Philadelphia, so I take the subway up, and on my way, from the subway stop when I get up to Center City, it's still another like 4 or 5 blocks to work, and Uh, I run into a lot of homeless people on the way up there, more than there used to be in this city. I don't know what is causing all this homelessness. I don't know if times are worse for people in general, or there are more crazy people out there, more drug addicts. I don't know. Um, but I see a lot of people just not only just being homeless, like sitting against the building, but like sleeping. Um, Actually like sleeping in the middle of the pavement. So you have it here. So here's the building, here's the curb, and they're just in the middle, and everybody just has to walk around them. And that's quite disturbing. because the person looks not just like a sleeping person, usually a he looks like a dead body in the middle of the pavement, and it seems kind of cold and callous to walk around them. But I have talked to a few of them, and I would say the vast majority of these people are either crazy, like just crazy. You can see it in their eyes, you can hear it in the way they speak, or I suspect that they're drug addicts because they're just sort of dazed or they're just sort of talking to themselves. Either way, like if you're talking to yourself, you could be a drug addict. I'm sure that I don't know very much about drug addiction, but it does seem a bit. Um, it's very like you're not dealing with a normal person. Let's put it like that. And I don't know what to do about it because if it's just a normal person, I wouldn't feel that bad about giving a little bit of money to the person. Um, just to, I don't know, help them get a meal, but I often see them smoking cigarettes. Sometimes they will have a can of beer or something like that. So I don't really want to contribute to that because those are, let's face it, those are luxuries. And when you're homeless, you can't afford to have luxuries, you know. And when you're doing that, I just don't want to contribute to that. You know, I don't want to, if you're going to help, you're going to help. You don't want to, that's not really helping. Um, Now I know that homeless people might not have a whole lot to look forward to. Um, so why not get drunk? But I don't think that's a very positive attitude. That doesn't really fix anything. So I walk to work and it's really depressing. It is really depressing. And it's getting towards winter. It's now the end of November and you see a lot of people and it's getting cold, and the way some of these large buildings in Philadelphia work is, you have skyscrapers, and you have a whole road, like whole street full of skyscrapers. It acts as a wind tunnel, and so it gets even colder, or at least it feels colder. And you see some of these people sleeping on heating vents. So in the pavement there's uh, a little grid there, a grill, and they sleep on top of it. And something, I don't know how this works. Something on the heat comes up through these vents, and I guess it's better than being cold. Often it's accompanied by a very terrible smell. But anyway, and I like I say, I'm reluctant to give them money because they're mostly they either look like crazies or they look like druggies, and I don't want to feed into the habit. On the other hand, like I know that even drug addicts and crazy people still need to eat, so I've been giving them the food there that I get, and I really don't know. I don't feel equipped to handle this problem, but I feel compelled to do something, and I don't know what to do. But I have to go by these people in order to go to work, and it kind of reminds me that it's nice to have a home, somebody who cares whether I'm cold or not, somebody who cares whether I'm hungry or not. As you can see, Lucy, sorry, everything's backwards. Lucy is investigating right now. Anyway, uh, and it's nice to have food on the table and a warm place to sleep and to hang out on my day off while it's raining and cold outside. But I don't really want to look at the homeless as a things could be this bad. And quite often I do think that way. And it still doesn't make their lives any better, but I don't feel equipped to help them except for helping them eat. And I know that they can't really turn food into drugs. So the only thing I can do is try to give them food the odd time that I get it. Otherwise, it just seems like we're just sort of we're forced in this situation, and it just seems like a lot of people are really upset about sort of higher level politics or very abstract things when this is a quite a not abstract at all. It's very concrete. Is that these people don't have a place to stay. It's warm in the winter. I don't know how they're getting food. Obviously, I do see the same ones over and over again when they're not covered up. I do see a couple of the same ones. You can tell some of them are a little bit happier than others. Some of them are a little bit crankier or like act like that we owe them food. Some of them will just babble in the same incoherent way. When you go by there twice a day, 5 days a week, you will see the same ones there, and they're usually at the same place. They each have their own little address. So there's one near this bank. There's one near this, you know, this clothing store because it's quite a big shopping area, and I, I just I wonder how the stores deal with it. Now, our store, I don't know how they deal with it, but sometimes they will come in and the manager will have to chase them out if they're just stinking up the place. But I know that a couple of them are allowed to use the toilets, which is fine. They're no grosser than the people I work with, so I can't really complain about them using the toilet because half the time the toilets are gross anyway. It just makes you wonder what people are doing in the toilet that it just ends up being that gross. I know that what comes out of us that we need to use a special room in our houses and in our work to keep the smells away and to deal with the waste. I understand that that's not the prettiest thing in the world, but we could minimize that at least. But anyway, the point is that I just my heart is broken every single day that I walk by these people, and I just don't know what to do. Um, and I don't, I have a policy now that I just don't give them money because there's another thing that if I do give them money, let's say I have, I don't know, let's just start off with a little thought. If I have $1 and I see one homeless guy on the way to work and I give him the dollar. Well, I didn't because I gave him the dollar, I can't give the other people dollars. On the other hand, I don't want to be handing out money. There's just so many homeless people. It's going to make me broke trying to give them money, and I don't know what they're going to do with that money. So it doesn't seem like it's money well spent, if you know what I mean. And I understand that these people have choices to make whether they eat, this thing or that thing. That's up to them when they do get the money. But I think because it's now charity, I get to choose which charity I go to or give to. And it's just so frustrating and heartbreaking because I don't really care about being seen as a good person giving to them. I don't want, and so much of charity and the politics of how we as a society deal with this problem. It's really all about your image and how you are seen about treating these people. And so often I try to do this secretly. Now, I know that broadcasting this on the internet is not exactly secret, but I'm actually more concerned about these people than how I'm seen, even by them. If I don't give them money, I'm not bothered if they think that I'm a stingy asshole, or I'm not bothered if they think that I'm heartless or whatever. I I I understand like I'm not doing that well myself financially, but I'm doing probably a lot better than them. And I just wish I could feed them. I wish I could do something, but I'm just not equipped because I know that this problem is actually bigger than food or shelter. This problem is mostly up here, and I just don't. I think they're a couple sandwiches short of a picnic. And I'm not a psychologist or a psychiatrist. I'm not a doctor. I have no idea how to deal with this. Anyway, that's enough of that. So it's nice to be on here to just to kind of get my thoughts out and just um, there's something about speaking your mind rather than just thinking your thoughts um, that allows you to give birth to the idea rather than it just sort of stay in the womb of your mind, that you can put your thoughts out there into the world, and even if no one watches it or listens to them, it feels like you've sort of You've put it out there. It now exists in some space or some uh, dimension beyond what's inside of your head. So, anyway, I hope to do this again sometime soon. Maybe next week when I've got a day off. All right, toodaloo.